Welcome to Cory's Stories. Are you ready to meditate with Cory? Hi friends, make sure that you subscribe and you like this video, and also press the bell because the bell will let you know when a new video comes out. If you love Heidi, Cherry and VAYA, make sure that you go to the link below and you join the Patreon group. Then you'll be part of the Cat Club and you'll get 3 exclusive stories every month for just $7 a month. I hope you enjoy the meditation. I love you. Are you ready to meditate with Cory? Make sure that you get all snuggly and warm in your bed so that you're ready to relax your body and let go of your busy day. It was that time of year, a new year. Corrianda always thought that this was a really exciting time. The new year to her meant so many possibilities. It's like the beginning of a new month, or the beginning of a new week, or even the beginning of a new day. But the beginning of a new year was always the most exciting for her. Corrianda had a ritual. She would get everything set up in her sacred space. That was her bedroom. Sat down on the floor on her meditation pillow. Her meditation pillow is always placed next to her altar. Corrianda lit the candle. The candle to her represented light. It also represented letting her friends from the other side know that she wanted them to be present. Her friends from the other side were all of her guides, all of the beings that help her on a daily basis. Whether that's through showing her different clues throughout the day, whether that's through allowing her to channel them when she automatic writes, whether that's through talking to her in meditation. Corrianda lights the candle and she sends out a mental message for all of her guides to come and be with her. Corrianda took a big deep breath and felt as if all her friends were around. It was time to manifest, time to create for the new year. On the floor next to her, she had her journal and one of her favorite pens. The first thing that she did was pick up her journal. At the top of one of the pages on the inside, she wrote down 2023. That was it. 2023. She underlined it. Then she took a big, deep breath and felt like she was allowing her body to just settle a little bit and relax into the space. She felt like she needed some incense as well, so she paused, put her journal down, lit a stick of incense, took in a big deep breath and allowed the fragrance and the aroma to calm her body and her mind even more. The smell that she always used was called Indian Temple. She liked to imagine that Indian temples smelled just like it. And because she used it every time she was going to do anything witchy-like, whether she was making a spell, whether she was meditating, whether she was just practicing something, a ritual, she would always light her incense. This gave her brain the indication that she was doing something witchy-pooey. It was like when you always smell something familiar to you, your brain sends you a message as if to say, "Oh, I remember that. When I smell this, I normally do this." Or maybe it's like fresh baked bread and it always reminds you of Grandma's house. Or maybe it's a certain perfume that smells just like your mum. Incense did the same for Corrianda. It made her feel like she was changing her energy and she was about to do some magical work. Once again, she picked up her journal. She opened it up on the page that said 2023. And she stared at the paper, as if she was waiting for something to just come out and pour all over it. She knew, because she does this a lot, that you have to start the river flowing. You have to start the ball rolling. You have to create a tiny little snowball before you can push it around the garden and make it bigger and bigger and bigger. It's just like that when you manifest. You have to start thinking about what it is you want. Thoughts are like little tiny particles, little tiny snowballs that you're starting to place on the ground. Corrianda started to think about what she wanted for 2023. The first thing that popped into her mind was that she wanted to learn more spells. She had a couple of different spell books. Rather than just read the books or skim through the books, she was going to do the physical work and practice the spells. This was something that she wasn't that great at the moment. She never seemed to have the time. She wrote down the word time. She wrote down the word practice. She wrote down the word consistently. She knew that consistency was the key to learning anything. You have to practice and practice and practice. You have to be consistent. These 3 words made her feel and think about doing spells. And then she started to get pictures in her mind as if her guides were sending her images. She saw herself making spells on a new cauldron. She wrote down, "Hunt for a new cauldron." She closed her eyes and started to see herself stirring what was in the cauldron with a big, long wooden spoon. She wrote down, "Big wooden spoon." She saw her face and she looked very happy. She looked like she was having fun. She didn't look serious or stressed or anything. She wrote down on her journal, "Need to be happy. Do what makes me happy." And then Corrianda saw a calendar, like the page that you have in a calendar for the year, the one that shows you the month, the days of the month with the little boxes. She saw that in each week she had a cross mark on one of the Fridays. So every Friday in the month had a cross mark on it. To her, this meant every Friday she was to practice a new spell. She wrote down in her journal, "Practice new spell every Friday." This felt like enough information for this one thing that she wanted to manifest in 2023. So Corrianda took a big deep breath, as if to signal she was clear in her mind to move on to the next thing. She sat quiet and just took deep breaths. The next thing that popped into Corrianda's mind was an image. She was in the public park. The grass was really green and it was nice warm days. And she was sat with a bunch of other friends. And they were practicing making spells of their own in their journals. There was about 10 people there, and at this point she didn't know them. But they were all doing the same thing. They were making notes in their journal, creating spells together, like a witch group. She heard as clear as day the word spelltastic, and she knew instantly that that's what the group should be called. She was to form a group of like-minded friends that all liked magic, that all loved everything to do with witchy stuff. How would she find these friends? She thought to herself. She wrote down in a journal before she forgot, outside in nature. Spelltastic. Group of about 10 friends. Making spells. And then she paused again and thought about how she would meet these friends. The next thing that popped into her mind was watching herself, an image of Corrianda on her phone, her thumbs moving really fast. She was on her social media and she was sharing the idea of spelltastic. And people were messaging her back saying, "I'd love to be in your group." And it was as simple as that. She wrote down, use social media to create the witch group. Corrianda took another big deep breath as if to signify that that was enough of that. What else did she need to manifest in 2023? She closed her eyes and carried on breathing really slowly and deeply, waiting for her guides to send her new images, or to talk to her, to tell her. She saw a blank chalkboard in her mind, empty, nothing on it. To Corrianda, this meant that was enough for now. These two things were what she should focus on. Maybe later on in the year something else would come to her, but for now, this is enough work. She closed her journal. She closed her eyes and said thank you to her guides. She took a big, deep breath in and blew out her candle to close her little ceremony, the connection that she'd formed with her guides. She stood up, put her journal on the shelf, and went and sat in her chair in her bedroom. The chair was placed next to the window so she could stare outside and look at the sky, one of her favourite things to do. And just like that, Corrianda was ready for 2023. The end.